Hi guys, welcome back to the workout of the day. Today we're at week 7, day 5. Today we're going to be going through some stuff that's taught to tactical response, FBI, a lot of counter-terrorism and stuff like that. They're really simple moves when you start, but they get more difficult as we go through. Some really interesting different ways to move technically. You're going to be doing rounds of 20 seconds with a 10-second rest. You stay with each exercise, and whether you're a beginner, intermediate or advanced, beginners would be 4 sets, intermediate is 6 and advanced is a full 8 set. After you've done your full set, you do a 1-minute break, which gives you a chance to stretch and cool down, and then you move on to your next exercise group. The first one we're starting with is called a spinal rock. So essentially what we're doing with spinal rock is we are rolling along our spine and we are pushing our feet into the air. Now, for low levels and beginners, just a little easy rock and sitting up is simple. Okay, for more of the advanced and the higher levels, we're going to do a full press. So the idea is that I want to come out of this concave position when I'm upright. I need to pull on my knees and sit my chest up, so I'm coming out of that. And then as I go back, I'm going to drop my chin to my chest and roll smoothly across my back and then propel my feet in the air. Now, as I come down, I'm going to catch my knees, and that's going to bring me into the sit-up. I'm not actually physically sitting myself up. So it's going to look like this. And that's your spinal rock. So really smooth. If you find you're coming down and you're dropping on your tail, it's because you're letting your legs get out too far in front of you, and you want to make sure you're propelling them right up above your head, and that makes it a nice smooth transition. Second one we're doing is a monkey lunge. So coming to the back of your mat, the idea with the monkey lunge is we're starting in a position that's all the way down like we would if we're doing a yoga sit. So we're all the way back and our head's down towards the floor. Our hands are out in front. Now when we come forward, we're going to step up and we're almost going to touch the side of our hand. So we're really looking at extending that posterior chain through the back of your hamstring and your hips. As you go down, you're going to breathe out, and then you're going to come back up. So it moves like this. Now, it's not about going quick, it's about positioning. So let the workout itself and the position you're moving through gain that level of endurance and that pressure on you. Don't try to do it too fast when you're starting out. As you warm up, you'll get more fluid and you'll move better. So that's when in the later rounds you can really start pushing, and rather than thinking about what you're having to do, you can actually just let go and go with speed. The next one is a plank press. So a tricky one to do. So for this one, a little bit of shoulder and tricep strength. So if you're not that great at push-ups, I'll give you an alternative. So again, we're in this squatted position like a yoga person. We've got our arms down flat like a canine sits. So my elbows and my forearm are actually flat on the floor. So this is your lower level one. We're going to go light. We're going to put our chin to the floor, push back. Seems simple at the start, but really gets the triceps, shoulder and that working. For the higher levels, we're going to actually be planking off the ground. So I'm going to be off the ground when I come forward in a plank. So keep tight, keep the body in here, but the big idea here is that I can't hold this for very long because it gets tiring. So I've got to drop my knees at some stage. So this gives me the chance to then lift my butt back and I push back and over. So you just got to remember to drop the knees to let yourself out. If you don't, you're just going to be pushing off the ground. And if you find yourself pushing up into a push-up, you're doing it a little bit incorrect. You want to stay lateral with the ground. Show you again. Pushing away, pushing in. Cool. So that's spinal rock, monkey lunge, and your plank press. So now we go to some more hip mechanic stuff, some stuff that's going to make your lower back, your hips, the thighs, all really start working. So squatting down in front, we're going to do a sit through or a sit down. So the less advanced version of this is I'm really looking at being in a nice square position. Hands are even with my knees and feet, so I'm in a box. And I'm looking at this rotation that I can get from my feet in my hips. And I'm going to literally sit and protect my head like I'm going to take a kick to the face. So my hand comes up, rotate through again and sit. Looks like this. So I really am sitting on my butt like I'm having a conversation. It literally is like that. For the more advanced version, we're doing a sit through. So we take away the sit and we put the leg out. Looks like this. So that movement I'm doing there is a lot more extended, takes a lot more load for you to do. Sit throughs are done, hip down. So another one that's really undoing a lot of what we get by sitting and internal rotation at the hip, trying to really alleviate that sitting pattern. We're doing this hip down. So the tricky one with the hip down is the extension behind where you usually would feel comfortable going. So I'm going to squat again. My feet are going to go wider this time, so I'm more in a sumo squat, and I'm going to thread the leg behind. Now, this is the lower level. So you can see my hip wants to go under. The advanced version is this, where I actually come right down, and you see I'm threading the leg behind the back leg. Hip to floor, hip to floor. Cool. Last one is called the Shin Box. So, as it sounds, we're making a box sit with our shins. Now, a lot of people have a very tight hip mechanism, can't get a lot of movement here, and we're really trying to push your butt towards the ground. So, we need to use our hands to stabilize ourselves a bit. There's no need to be over here when I can be pushing into that hip and trying to release it by trying to stay tall. So I'm using my hand. If you naturally can sit with your bum on the ground, you're going to find this a lot easier to do this exercise. But for most people, you're going to have at least one side of your hips that are tight. So the extension for this is, I'll just get Corpse to step back a little bit for me, is going to be extension, extension, in and back. So that's one pattern across. You always start with the outside leg first, so it's leg one, leg two, leg one, leg two. So leg one, leg two, leg one, leg two. Okay, and we're moving, and you can see I push into that hip. And what that's doing is really releasing a lot of my hip mechanism. So that's your 6 exercises: Spinal Rock, Monkey Lunge, Plank Press, Sit Through, Hip Down, and Shin Box. You should find them a bit fun and a little bit unusual if there's something you haven't done there before. A really good one to have a try out, so enjoy.